Good morning, everybody. I'm Louise Viljoen from Preferred Solutions, and we are very excited this morning to introduce to you the Sage Business Cloud Payroll Professional product. We're happy to see that all of you took the time to join us. And as I said, we're excited to show you what this system can do for you. So with me, we have Marilise, also from Preferred Solutions. Marilise, if you can just show yourself there for everyone to see. That is Marilise. Marilise and myself are both from Preferred Solutions, and we are certified Sage Business Cloud Payroll Professional Consultants. So we will be ready to assist you after this session with installation and setup and everything you need for this product. Then we also have from Sage, we're very excited for that. From Sage, we have Alicia. Alicia, you can please show yourself. There we have Alicia. And she will be demonstrating the system live for us today so that you can see what the system can do. Okay, so that is our team that's ready to assist you today. So I would like to tell you a bit more about what you can expect today. We're ready to assist you, so we hope that you're comfortable and ready to listen to all the nice features that we're showing to you today. After the live demonstration, which Alicia will do for us, there will be a Q&A session. On the Q&A session, you can ask your questions. We'll answer the questions here live for you as far as possible. Otherwise, we will answer that question afterwards via email. You will see there is a Q&A button at the top of your screen, which you can use to type your question. You will note that there's two Q&A buttons. The system duplicates the button, so whichever button you use, it's fine. We will see the question, it's the same result that you'll get. So please use any one of those two buttons, and I encourage you to ask your questions. If you don't have any questions at this stage, you're welcome to email us afterwards. We will send out our contact details, myself and Marilise's email and contact numbers, so that you can contact us directly. If you have any questions afterwards, or even would like to book an additional demo of the system for specialized information that you need on your system. So I am now going to tell you more about why you are here today. So we have two focus groups in our audience. Leon, you can take us to the next slide, please. We have two focus groups in our audience today. The first focus group is people without any payroll software. So the first thing we would like to do is encourage you to get computerized payroll software. It will save you so much time. It will make life so much easier for you. You will see on the screen there is a few pointers and benefits of why it is important to have a computerized payroll system. It will make your life so much easier, from processing your monthly payroll, monthly, weekly or fortnightly payroll, up until the end where you need your reports for submissions, for your monthly submissions, your biannual submissions, as well as your annual submissions to SARS. Instead of doing it manually, we really would like to encourage you to get a computerized payroll system. Now, with that in mind, it takes me to our second focus group, which is the group in the audience that already has a payroll system. So they are already familiar with what a payroll system can do for you, but the payroll system is still desktop-based. We would like to encourage you to move to a cloud-based payroll system. And on screen now, you will see the benefits of having a cloud-based payroll system. You know that going cloud is the way to go nowadays. There is some benefits on screen that will encourage you to move your system from your desktop version to the cloud version. And that is why I said to start with, we're here for you. Marilise and myself will be there to assist you to move your software from your desktop version to a cloud-based system for the benefits and the reasons listed on screen. I'm not going to read through that. You can read through them, and I'm sure that you are aware of the benefits of a cloud-based system at this stage. Now, to show you the system, we have Alicia from Sage. She's going to do a live demo for us on the Sage Business Cloud Payroll Professional product, which is the star of the show today, Sage Business Cloud Payroll Professional, which will make your life so much easier. So Alicia, I think it's over to you then to show our audience what the system can do for them.
Thank you, Louise. Thank you so much. Let me just quickly share my screen. Louise, if you can just indicate for me if you can see my login page.
I can, yes, thanks.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, so maybe just before we start, there's just a few things I just want to point out regarding the payroll, Sage Business Cloud Payroll Professional. I know it's a mouthful, so we just call it for short Sbcpb or Payroll Professional. But it is basically the online solution, the online payroll system that Louise mentioned. So a few benefits with having an online system or online payroll system is a few things. So first of all, you can access it from anywhere. So it's very nice and convenient, especially in today's time with COVID and everything like that that's happening, that you can actually access your system from anywhere. You don't physically have to be at your office to be able to access your payroll system. So you can do it from anywhere. And that also then has another benefit where we say then obviously it is also safe and secure. So we will, it's also comply to POPI Act. So you will know that your information will always be secure and that no one will be able to access your information without you giving them permission. Then we also have that because it's online, another benefit is that Sage will make sure that your system is always compliant and will always make sure that it's on the latest updates. So if there's, for example, a tax tables changes or any legislative changes, we will make sure that your system is always updated at the correct times. So you have that peace of mind that when you process your payroll, that it is all up to date with the latest legislation. Then we also have backups. So Sage will also make backups for you. There's different types of backups that gets made. So you have your normal ad hoc backups that gets made on a daily basis. You have your tax year end backups that can be made. And then you also can schedule another type of backup. So for example, if you want monthly backups, for example, you can also do that. But Sage will make backups for you, so you can make your own backups, but you always have security or the peace of mind that if you lose your information or something happens to your computer, you can literally just log into a next computer or a different computer, log into your payroll, and you can continue. Your latest information would be backed up. Then also with our cloud solution, we have 2 additional reports that are available on the cloud software, free of charge, no additional charges for the clients. We have the report Stats SA, Statistics South Africa. Not all clients do that, but if you do make use of that report, it is built into the system. And the other one is the UI-19 form. So when a person goes on maternity or is terminated, you can generate the UI-19 form straight from the payroll system. Okay, so there's just a few benefits, you know, on the payroll. First of all, what you see in front of you is the login page. We call this your Sage ID. So you will have a specific Sage ID where we will set up your different access controls. So if you have multiple people that needs to log into the payroll, but they can only see different things to maybe have access to different companies or different employees, this is where we will set up the access control. So you can have different access controls set up for different users. So once you log into the system, the first page that will open up will be what we call the landing page. see this as basically your desktop, your landing page or your desktop system. So desktop page. So first of all, you will see your site code, which is specified to your company. When you buy your payroll system, you will have your own specific site code. Mine is just called support data, but in your case, it will be your company's name. And then if you click on launch, it will actually open the payroll system in a new window. I'm just going to go back quickly to the first page, your landing page, just to continue here. So next to your launch button, your launch button, sorry, you've got these 3 little bullets. If you click on it, you will see there is retrieve backups, upload data, reset users, or remove site codes. So just a quick one here. Like I mentioned, Sage will make backups for you. If you want to retrieve those backups, you will click on retrieve backup and it will open up a timeline on the side. So your latest backups will always be at the top and you can retrieve those backups. There's 2 ways of retrieving the information. The first one is retrieve over your live system, meaning you made a mistake and you would like to restore the information and process that information again. Or you can say retrieve in a new window. So at the top, you'll see my payroll opened up in a window. But if I say retrieve in a new window, maybe old information or old backup, what is nice about it is you can next to each other, you can go and view that information. Live system versus maybe an old backup. Okay, then we also have on the side here, we've got your quick links. So with the quick links, it's just a few nice shortcuts, if I can call it like that, to access the information. So you've got your training options there. You've got frequently asked questions. We have support, customer zone, which will be the main portal, customer portal, if I can call it that, where you will log on and get your invoices, get statements. You can set up debit orders. You can view all your information on your account. You can get in your customer zone. When you log into your customer zone, it will be your email and password, same as your Sage ID that you just saw on the first page I showed you. Then we've got also your Sage City, which is similar to your frequently asked questions, but there you can put in keywords and get information on certain topics, but you can also connect with other customers. So if you are an industry-specific type of customer, let's say construction, for example, you can connect with other construction companies or clients using Sage, and ask that relevant questions. Then we also have your website, and then at the bottom also your TERS reports if you make use of those. Okay, right at the bottom we also have what we call Ask Peg. So there's this little peg that we have here. Again, it's similar to frequently asked questions. You can type in keywords into Peg and it will give you the relevant documents. But we also have the chat button. So this is an online chat support option where you can click on chat and it will take you to a support agent at Sage to ask your questions. When we are in the system, you will see there's also a chat button. So you can chat from the landing page or chat from in product. There's also the chat option. Okay, without further ado, let's quickly run to the payroll system itself. Okay, so I'm just clicking at the top there. After I click launch, it opened my payroll on the side here. I just want to move this down quickly. Okay, perfect. So then on the first page here, you will see this is just a demo environment. So I have multiple companies set up here, but you will only have your companies that is relevant and what is being set up by your business partner. So by Louise and her team, whatever they have set up according to your requirements, business requirements, that will be what you will see when you open up your page here. So first of all, like Louise mentioned, you have different payment cycles. So monthly, weekly, we can also do bi-weekly if bi-weekly is one of your payment methods, as well as others. So if you have other periods, for example, some clients has 13 months or more than 52 weeks, for example, you can also have that in there. And then you will also see if your companies have got live statuses. What we also recommend to clients is sometimes to have your live company, but then have a copy company of that one and make the type dormant, which means you can use that company as almost like a testing company. So if you have like you want to print a dummy payslip, for example, you put it in the test company, you capture the information in there, so you don't accidentally out of your live system maybe pay that text employee, for example. Okay, so we can just copy it over and call it dormant. Then also very important, there is two things that we look at when we send you a quotation. So when you buy the system, we determine the price on two different factors. The first thing is the amount of employees. So there's different increments, employee increments that you can get your quotation on. And the second thing is different modules. So the system is a modular-based system, and it depends on the functionality that you need out of the system that you would use those different modules for. So at the end, you will see your total employees, which is active and terminated employees in your companies. At the bottom, it only counts your active employees. So in this case, this system could have been licensed for 150 employees with active employees 129. So we only count the active employees within your system. Okay, then to access the company, you double click on the company that you want to log into, and then it will open up on the first landing page of the payroll system. The system is set up in two main screens. The first screen is what we call the fixed information, and the second one financial. So the whole system works on those two basic screens. So the first one, you have employees, which is your fixed information, names, surnames, address fields, etc. And then your payroll is your financials, so your payslip screen, where all the money is. Based on those two screens, you will be able to pull your reports, you'll be able to do exports and imports into the system. So it bases it on those two main screens. Then, like I mentioned, we also have it's a modular-based system. So we have your basic payroll, which I'll go through now. You've got your leave, so to capture and maintain your leave records. If you just make use of the normal leave module, you will capture leave transactions into the system one by one, or there is an import functionality for leave as well, that you can import those leave transactions. If you, however, want a workflow system or a system where people can log on, apply for leave, and it comes through an approval process, so one or multiple people approves those leave transactions and it automatically imports into the system, that is the module that we call self-service. So it's a profile per employee where they will be able to do 4 things: apply for leave, change personal details, claims, if you do claims in your company, things like travel claims, reimbursement, subsistence, and then lastly, payslips. You can then, instead of printing a payslip or sending it via PDF, you can then send it to each person's profile on self-service. The self-service can also be accessed through the internet, so I can go to my computer and access my self-service profile there, or I can also do it through a mobile app. So it's exactly the same screens that you log on the computer versus on the cell phone. So what's nice about that is you can also obviously get your payslips on the go on your cell phone, or apply for leave on your cell phone. Okay, so that is one of the additional modules. Then you will also see at the end, there we have the 3 additional HR modules. First of all, we've got personnel management. Personnel management is basically document management. So it will be things like interviews, qualifications, disciplinaries, appraisals, items issued, medical aid, all these different documents that you have for your employee. You can physically upload the actual document under the attachments, or you can also then go and load details regarding that transaction. So let's just use an example quickly. I'm loading disciplinary, then I will be able to say what type of disciplinary is it? Maybe a warning, it's a written warning or a final warning. What was the details for the warning? Is there maybe an expiry date on the warning? And by putting in details in the system, it also gives you the reporting functionalities where you can then go and pull those reports. Give me a list of people that got warnings this month, or give me a list of Pity's warnings, for example. So that is the first of the HR add-on modules, personnel management. Then we've got equity, which is your EE reporting, your EEA reporting that you can do out of the system. So your EEA 2 and 4 that you can generate straight from the system. It gives you exactly in those block format, you know, the different race, genders, occupational categories, and industries you can get there. And exactly that's EEA 2 and 4 reporting. You can generate straight from the system. Then we also have skills development, which is your training reports or your CETA reports, which is the WSP and your ATR reports. that you can pull straight from the system. A benefit of having HR on a payroll system or HR modules on a payroll system, a lot of the information that you pull in equity and skills is already some of the fixed information that you will pull from, that you will have to have on a payroll system already. So for example, with equity, you already have to capture a person's race, a person's gender. Now you can just link them to a specific occupational category, and that will then automatically generate and pull through to your equity reporting. So you don't have to do payroll in one place and then maybe your equity on an Excel spreadsheet or a different place. Okay, so that's just quickly on the HR side. Again, if you have more questions on this or you want to do more detailed demonstrations, on each of them, we can definitely set up that up afterwards. Just from a time point of view, I'm just going to focus on the payroll side for now. So if we just quickly go and look at the payroll side of the business or the system. So like I mentioned, first of all, this is your landing page. You will see there's the live chat button again, so you can click, or your support options. You can also access support by clicking on the help and then clicking on support. It will literally take you to the support page of Sage, and there's all the multiple different options for support there. Again, you can also make use of, we always say your first line of support should be with your business partner, with Louise and a team, because they will do your setup and know your system more than what the Sage support consultants will do. But if you can't get hold of them, maybe they're busy at that point of time and it's urgent, you can always contact Sage as well for support. Okay, then we have little shortcut buttons on the top, on the bottom here. When you start using the system, it will just be little pluses, and you can access and add these different shortcuts of the pages that you make use of on a regular basis. And then right at the bottom, you will see news from Sage. This pulls through from our website. So you'll see the date of the update, and you will see whatever the new update is. So there was a new release, for example, or something on employment tax validations, so you can go and read up on that. But it pulls the information from the website. You will also see your active employees, terminated, and your total then of 26 employees. Now, how to use the system? Remember I said there's two main screens. Employees, fixed information, payroll, financial information. Company, I'm not going to go into too much details. This is where all the setup will happen. So just quickly, company, a basic company information. Here we will set up your pay, your earn numbers, your UIF numbers, your full company registration name, etc. And then setup things will happen on the side here. But you as the user will make use of these two screens on a daily basis. So employees, you can add new employees. I'm just going to go and change and look at my current list of employees. So if I click on employees, change employees, I will get a list of my employees in my company. Now what you will see here is the employee code is very important in the payroll system. This is where we link different systems also with the payroll. So your common denominator would be your employee code between, let's say, your payroll system and a clocking system, for example, if you want to import hours. And then you've got your name, known as name, surname, ID number, so basic information of a person. And then these fields at the end here, department, pay point, category, and job grade, these are all what we call analysis fields in the system, or sorting fields within the system. You can use these fields when you print reports, for example. So pull a report, but only for the admin department, or pull my payslips, but only for the financial department, for example, or sorting fields within your reporting. Now, these fields are customizable. So if you don't make use of something like categories, and you would rather want to know if a person was vaccinated for COVID, for example, or not, you can say their COVID status and then link them to yes or no, for example. So you can customize these fields depending on what you want to use them for. Okay, to access an employee, you just double click on their name. Okay, when it opens up, you will see it will open up with all the fields at the top here, the different headings of fixed information that you can capture for an employee. So first of all, we've got personal details. You will see the little asterisk is where the minimum requirements is for an employee to load them. Then we also have address information, which is the second one. Statutory information, which is mainly just the tax tables and the UIF status that you will capture in here. Everyone, or 90% of the employees, will be statutory tables, which is sources tax tables, but you can also select other options. So maybe if they don't pay any pay-as-you-earn, if they're independent contractors, directive percentage, and so forth. But mainly, most of them will be statutory tables. Then we've got payment details. We've got an option in the system called ACB or EFT. It's the same terminology. So if you select a person as O3 or ACB payments, then the banking details becomes mandatory. You can do an export out of the system called the Acb Export, where you will export your information. It will give you a file based on your bank setup. So if your bank is for the business FNB, for example, we will set up the FNB layout in the system. You will export that file in FNB's format, plus you will get a report. And you can then open up FNB and import that file. It will list your employees like beneficiaries, so you don't have to go and load them one by one. You can check it with the report that it gives you as well, and then you can go onto the bank and just release the payments. So that's the one option of paying it. Or if you don't want to do that, you can just go to your report screen and pull that same report. We call that the remuneration list. So you can get exactly that report. Sorry. You can get exactly that report, and then you can go and load your information on the bank one by one, like beneficiaries if you prefer. Or we also have, for example, if you say O2, which is cash, then the banking details obviously is not required, but then there's a report called the coinage report that you can pull to see exactly how many 100 Rand notes, 200 Rand notes, 50 Rand notes, etc. you need to get from the bank to pay your employees in cash. Okay. Then we have the analysis field details. Those are those fields I said in the beginning. So you can go and customize these fields and make your selections based on, the ones that you want to use for the reporting or for the sorting fields. We do, however, make use of the first two, job grade and title. We use when you make use of the equity module, because this is where you will pull through the occupational category and their job titles. You will pull through from here. Then we have benefit information. This is mainly for pension, provident, medical information. So we make use of these fields within methods in the system. So an example, if you've got, let's say, discovery medical aid in your company, and the fees that you deduct for the person is dependent on the amount of dependents that they have, you'll be able to put in, let's say, 2 dependents, and the calculation will be based on that. Or if you've got, for example, pension provident, in your company, you can put in the percentages of basic salary, for example, or you can even just make use of this to say when the start date is. Maybe I'm loading a person today, but they first have a probation period of, let's say, 3 months, and thereafter they're only going to start contributing. So in that case, I can load the information today, but put the date for only 3 months going forward, and then it will only start contributing towards the pension or provident at that specific date. Okay, then we also have a travel and company car. So if you have a travel allowance or a company car, you can specify the taxability percentage that you can put in here. And then lastly, here we've got employment tax incentive. So the system, what's very nice is that SAGE's systems will automatically calculate if a person is eligible for employee tax incentive or not. Okay, if they are, it will calculate the amount, and it will actually when you pull your EMP 201 report, which is your total tax, UIF and SDL you pay over to SARS, that report you will see the net tax minus ETI, and then your gross tax minus ETI, and then get your net but what you need to pay over to SARS. But the system will automatically calculate and determine if the person is eligible for ETI or not. Okay. So that is all your fixed information. Now, if we just go back to the main screen, let's focus now quickly on the financial side of the financial information. So payroll, payslip information. I'm going to go to the payslip screen. You will get the same list of employees. You can just double click on it. Once it opens up, you will see your payslip screen. Now, how the payslip screen works, very quickly, we've got your summary page. You'll see I'm on Jay Stradon's payslip. You've got your summary page, salary cost, and then everything in between. So the summary and the salary cost is viewing screens. You can't capture anything on there. It's just a summary of what's happening in your payroll. So on summary, you get a list of your earnings, a list of your deductions for the current period, previous period, year to date plus the current period. So what's nice about this is you can actually, at a glance, see if everything is 100% right. So here you can see, for example, in the current period, the person started contributing towards a loan, whereas previously they didn't. So they only started from this month, but the rest is very similar. And you can see, oh, the only thing different also is this month they worked a little bit of extra overtime, and they also started getting a self-fund allowance. Okay, so this is a viewing screen of what's happening in your payroll. Earnings, deductions to give you your net salary. Then the salary costs is exactly the same, but you get earnings, company contributions to give you a total cost. So it costs the company this much to employ the person versus this is how much the person is taking home by the summary. Okay, now to get something, sorry, just one mention. With the original setup, Louise and a team will set up these different earnings, deductions, and company contributions will be set up based on your setup, based on your requirements. Okay, they can also set up different methods, whatever calculations needs to happen in your system as well. Now, if you want to put something on these earnings, you will go to earnings. Same with deductions, same with company contributions. There's also another tab here in the middle that we call taxable benefits or perks. So these are all the additional things that you might want to put on for an employee. So you have, for example, travel allowances or residential accommodation, maybe interest on loans, low interest loans, for example, or if they've got private retirement annuities and they want the tax benefit through the payroll, you can put it in here as well. Or maybe a private medical aid, not through the company. You can put those informations in here as well. Sorry. Then if we just quickly go back to earnings, how the capturing or the input of the system works, you'll see there is 4 columns for each of the earnings, but see them actually as 2 columns. So the fixed column by itself, and then the amount times and balance, those 3 works together. So if you put something in fixed, let's just use the same example quickly. If I put 500 Rand in self-fund allowance in the fixed column, it means when I roll over to the next month or the next week, it will stay there forever and a day until I change the amount or if I take it out. So this person will always, every month, get that fixed 500 allowance. Or you can say amount with a times. So a person is only going to get 500 Rand allowance for 3 months. What's going to happen is when you roll over, this will change to 002, then it will change to 001, and then the next month it will be gone. So when you roll over, it will automatically take it out. If you put 500 Rand times 999, 999 meaning infinity, if you say 500 times 999, it's the same as putting 500 in the fixed column. Okay, so that's how the capturing works in the system. The balance column, we don't use that much by the earnings side, only with something like, I just want to see if there's one, like a savings. For example, you can put 100 Rand per month I'm saving, and the balance will be an increased balance line. So this month will be 100 when I roll over 200, 300, 400, etc. So you can see the balance. And then the same when you go to deductions will be the same on the loans. So you will see here, the person has borrowed 1,500, but they are paying back 100 Rand a month. So when you roll over, this is a reducing balance line. So you will see it will change to 1,400, 1,300, 200, etc. So it will reduce as you roll over. The system is also what we call online real time. So what that means is that tax, UIF, and STL with company contributions, those will automatically calculate based on the input that you have on here. Okay, so based on your taxability of the setup of each of these lines, as you capture the information in here, the tax, UIF, and STL will automatically calculate. Just ignore the deduction or the negative amount there. This is just demo environments, but it will automatically calculate based on your tax tables for that. On that note, if you want to check the taxability of a person, right at the bottom, there's a routing block. So if you want to, on the Payslip screen, and you go tax in the routing blocks, and you say enter, it will actually take you to the tax information of a person. So you can literally click here on tax calculation, STL calculation, or UIF calculation, and it gives you exactly the calculation of that person. Okay, you can also print this if you want to. So print this out to PDF and email it if a person maybe asks you for the tax calculation. Okay, then just quickly back to the payslip screen. There was something else I wanted to mention. Oh, if we just quickly go back to earnings, just an example of how calculations works. If you double click on the line, there's a calculation set up in the background. So this is overtime, double time. So there's a calculation set up. I say the person worked 3 hours, double time, overtime. I say close, and you'll see there's an amount. So what happened in the background? The J Straight-On's rate per hour times 2, because it's double time line, times 3 hours that I just captured, and that's how the calculation works. Now, it does not have to be just for overtime calculations. We can set up any type of calculations in the system. So, for example, commission is based on a sales amount. Just take an example. You can capture the sales amount on a screen, and we can say 5% of that amount, and it then calculates automatically the amount in here. Or provident fund, for example, or pension fund, you can say 7%, pension, for example, 7% of my earnings. It will calculate, based on the earnings that's captured, it will then go and calculate 7%, for example, and put in the amount there. Okay, so this is just an example of the payslip screen, and you can print your payslip straight from here, or you can go to reports. So let me just quickly close the screen, go back to the main screen, and now we've got all our fixed information, all our financial information. From there, you'll be able to go and pull reporting out of the system. So there's 2 places to do, or 3 places to do reporting. First of all, you've got your history reporting. So you can see there is validation reports, loan report, savings report, ETI history report, 12-month history report. So there's a few history type of reports where you can go into the background. Or we have reports, and maintenance, which is your main reporting on a monthly basis. So you will see there's a long list of different reports, but if I just scroll down a little bit, from statutory downwards and at the top here, these will be the reports that you pull on a monthly basis. So you've got your, UIF submit report. That's the report or the file that you generate and send to the UIF department, the Labour Department, Then you've got your EMP 201, which is your report for your tax, UIF and STL that you pay over to SARS. You've got your IRP5 IT3 report. That is the report that you generate out of the system. So there's 2 standard exports out of the system. The one to the bank, like I mentioned when we got to the fixed information, export the file, import into the bank, and then pay your staff. And the second standard export out of the system is this report. So when you run the IRP5 IT3 report, it generates a file that you can import into EasyFile to do your annual, your biannual submissions. August and February submissions. You can do straight from there, but on a monthly basis, you'll run your EMP 201 and open up e-filing and capture your amounts in there. Then you also have your OID reports. So all your standard reports you'll get from here. And then you can also add additional reports. So these are some of the standard reports we've already added to the system, but you can see there's lots of extra space to add additional reports. And there's 2 more tabs at the top here as well. When you add different reports, different modules into the system, so your equity module, your personnel management module, or your skills development module, or even your leave module, you'll get your additional reports. So you'll see here standard, your leave reports and all your personnel management reports, so your warnings, disciplinaries, items issued, things like that. And then on the last one, you've got your equity and your skills reports. But again, additional space to write more reports. What you can also do is you can set up little stars next to the report you want to print every month. And then instead of saying print 1 by 1, you can say print star at the bottom, and it will generate all those star reports automatically. Okay, those are the standard reporting in the system. But then we've got thirdly, or the third option is your interfaces or that you have here. So interfaces is all the exports and imports into the system. But the one I want to show you, this Flexi one, is also a reporting tool because it's an export functionality that you can export into Excel or make changes in Excel and then import back into the system. But once you export information into Excel, it's also a report writing tool, you know, for you to get reporting into Excel. Just before we get there, certain things that you will import, for example, will be batches for payroll. So what that is we can set up linkings between systems. So if you want to import, for example, hours from a clocking system, you will use this function. We will set up the same criteria in both systems, and you will say import for batches for payroll. So you'll say batches for payroll and select the file that you want to import from your clocking system, for example. And then some of the exports you'll do will be something like export ACB, remember your bank file, export from the system, import into the bank, sorry. And then another example would maybe be general ledger. So that's also an additional module that you can add, and that's the integration between payroll and accounting. So here we can set up all the different accounting. Let me just quickly open one example. So you'll see your list of all your earnings, company contributions and deductions, and we can put exactly your debit and credit contra account codes, exactly like you have it set up for your accounting side. And therefore you can export the general ledger file and then import into accounting. So you don't have to go and reprocess everything in the general ledger side in the accounting system. You can just go and check the contra account or the salary cost account to make sure everything balances. Now, this is not limited to just Sage products. Yes, we've got Sage products listed here as well, but it's not limited to that. We can integrate in any type of accounting solution. Okay. That was just quickly on that one, but back to the interfaces. So just to show you quickly an example of a reporting tool or the reporting facility that it has. So if you look at, remember I said fixed information, names, surnames, address fields, etc. Financial information, everything on the payslip. Fixed and financial, meaning those two together, and then your leave information. So if you're not making use of self-service to get that leave transactions into the system, you can all capture it one by one, which I'll quickly show you at the end, or you can make use of this leave information flex utility tool. So it's basically an Excel sheet with the headings already on it. You can capture your leave transactions on the Excel and then just import those leave transactions. So you can even give this leave template to, let's say, managers. They capture all their employees' leaves on these templates and you just import it into the system. So let's just quickly use an example. Fixed information. All of them has got control, import and export. Control, set up what you want to export or import, or what you want to get into Excel, import it or export it. Now, if I just quickly go to control, I just want to show you a quick example. So I'm just going to say add number 7. I'm just going to call it PS for Preferred Solutions webinar. Okay, so we say enter, and then what it does is each line is a column in Excel. So it will start with a company number. So you'll see I'm in company 001. Then it will start with the employee number that it will export. Now, I don't know all my employees off by heart or their numbers. So I first want to see name, surname, for example. So all you do is you double click on the column, you select first name, then you select surname. Now, in this case, let's say I want to get a report to see who's got tax numbers, who doesn't. So instead of going through each person one by one, I select I want to see tax numbers. Okay, let's say this is what I want to see. You can always come back and add and change things, but let's say this is what I want to see for now. I'm happy with that report. Now, I've basically set up what I want to see. I go back there, I say export. What I want to export, I want to export the report I just set up. Let's select that one, say continue. Now it gives me two options. Export header and data, meaning a report. I want the information in Excel. Sorry. Or export, generate just the headers. So the example I use with the leave, you will only do headers because you want a template that people can capture on and just import. In this case, I want to see header and data. I also want to, in this case, only see active employees because if a person is terminated, I'm probably not going to get their tax number. So let's just leave it on active. And remember that you can sort reports. So if you want to say, I want to only see this for a specific department or per department, you can go and select those departments. I'm just going to say in this case, all my employees, say export. It's going to say I've got 25 active employees. Yes, that's correct. Okay. and then it will open up my Excel. I'm just going to click here quickly. Sorry for the delay. My Excel has not been opened yet today, so it's just going to take a few minutes. Let me just open my Excel, and there you will see. I've got my list of my employees' tax numbers. I actually have no tax numbers. So that's how quick and easy it is to get information. I can literally just go and capture the tax numbers, save this, go back to my payroll. Let's just say allow. Go back to my payroll, and then I can go same place, and I say import. So I've captured all the tax numbers in there, for example. Okay, so this is also a report writing tool in the system, but it's an import-export facility as well. And then also what I just want to quickly show you is then the leave. So with leave, we will set up, obviously, all the leave policies in the system. So we can set up different leave policies, and you can link the people to that specific leave policies. So let's say I've got a manager type of leave policy, so they get 20 days a year, whereas I've got the rest of the employees, which only gets 15 days a year. So we can set up those different leave policies depending on, you know, the requirements. But when you go to actually to each person's leave screen, again, you just select the person. It will open up based on your setup. Now, this is just an example. You don't have to use it this way. But we've got, for example, our annual leave, sick leave, family, maternity. So the basic 4 leave types. But then we also have an annual leave carry forward. So carry forward BCA leave, meaning whatever I don't use on line 1 goes all the way down to line 5. And then if I don't use that leave, whatever, let's say I've got 6 months to use it. So you can see there, it goes from 03 to 09, meaning I only have 6 months to use that. If I don't use it, it goes to a lost leave line. So this is just a tracking line. So you can see exactly if a person says, oh, I had 2 days left. No, you didn't. You lost it because you didn't use it within that 6 months. Then this example's got, for example, extra long service leave that's set up. It's not limited to just the basic leave types. We can set up additional things like long service. We've got companies that gives employees 1 day a year COVID leave to go and do their vaccinations or things like that, you know, so you can have all these different types of leave types set up. Now, basically how it works is we can have different methods. Remember I said maybe managers has got 20 days a year, whereas the rest of the employees maybe it's got only 15 days a year. You can literally call it 15 days and 20 days, link the managers to 20 days, link the employees to 15 days, for example. That 15 days will then be an allocation of 1.25 per month, because we're in a monthly company, so it will say 15 divided by 12 gives you 1.25 per month. How it works is those 4 columns works together. Due at start, let's say we are in, where we now, August, beginning of August, allocated for August, taken for August, due at end for August. When I roll over into September, that due at end will become my due at start. For September, allocated, taken, due at end. Okay, so it will be rolling balance like that. And then also, you see, I can't capture something in taken here. How do I get the taken if I'm taking 2 days, for example, in here? 3 ways. 1, you click on new transaction and capture the details in there, 1 by 1. So it opens up a calendar, you select the dates, you say what type of leave it is, you say continue, and then it will come and populate it in there. Or secondly, remember with the Flexi tool, you can import it, so create a template in Excel, capture it in there, import it. Or thirdly, Sage self-service. If you make use of that, employee logs in, applies for leave, approves it, and then it comes in here automatically. If you want to see these transactions, you click on transaction tab at the top and you'll see all the transactions that's been captured there. Okay, you can also attach, there's a little attachments button, so you can attach documents, so maybe a sick note or a hospital if they went in for operation, whatever, you can put in that attachments also on the leave schedules. Okay, and that is in a nutshell. That is it. That is the payroll professional.
Thank you very much, Alicia. That was very informative. I'm sure everybody enjoyed all of that information. I want to remind you that you can post questions in the Q&A section and we will answer those questions here. or we can email you the answers to the questions. I think we can give a few minutes to make sure that there's no questions, and then we can continue to our contact details. Leon, can I ask that you just add our contact details on screen in the meanwhile so that they can make note of that, the attendees can make note of our contact details. We will also send you an email afterwards with contact details for myself and for Marlies. If you're interested in the system, or if you would like to email us a question directly, you can do it via that email address. And you can also ask us for an additional demo if there's something that you want to know about the additional modules that wasn't covered now. But I think this was really a nice informative session on the basic functions. And I really hope that it will, oh, Leon is back. Okay, no problem. Leon, if you can, if you're ready, you can post that contact detail. Otherwise, Marlies is on the Q&A session. So Marlies, I think I'm going to ask you in the Q&A section just to type our contact details there, your email address and my email address, and then they're welcome to contact us. But you will also receive an email afterwards with a complete detail that you can contact us on. I see there's no questions yet. Marlies has posted our email addresses there. I think Alicia's demo was so perfect that there's no questions. And I hope all of you that attended actually will contact us now to get your payroll system up and running for an online payroll system. There we have the basic contact detail for sales and our contact number, which you're welcome to use, or you can use our email addresses in the Q&A. Marlies, can I ask you to just read that question for us, please?
Mariette Duplessis asks, please be so kind as to show how you would capture hours worked if all your employees works per hour, not one by one. Do you have to buy an additional module for this?
Okay, so I'll quickly answer that one. So there's obviously multiple ways to do that, Mariette. So you can, if you have a clocking system that people will clock in their hours, you can set that, we can set that batches up, meaning we set up the same layout. So your clocking system might have the first column normal hours, then overtime hours, then double time hours, etc. We set up in the batches in the payroll side exactly the same format to say the first column that comes in is normal hours, which in the background then is the hours times the person's rate per hour. Or if the second column is overtime, then it's the person's hours times the hours they worked, the rate per hours, the time is the hours they worked, times 1.5 or double time if it's 1.5 or double time. So we set up those methods in the background, and then you will do it there where I showed, where you'll say utilities import batches for payroll. You'll import that sheet, and you can then obviously import that information. The second option is if you say you don't want to do it one by one. One by one is an option. If you do it on the Payslip screen, you can obviously double click and select it there. Or like I showed with the overtime. Or then thirdly, you can use that Flexi tool. So if you're not using a clocking system and you just you're getting the information on Excel, for example, rather set up a template for those hours. Remember, it's fixed information, financial information, or there's a combination. So the combination you will use fixed and financial, where you'll say list of your employees with their names, with their details, and then the next columns you'll set up. I want to set up column 1, which is wages, then column 2, which is overtime 1.5, then column 3, you can capture it on Excel and import it. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Alicia.
I've got a question on the chat. It's 2 questions. One is from Nomonde, asking how much would the system be? So if you can give us just a rough estimate of the most basic price. And then Angel asks, can we pay on a monthly basis?
Yes, 100%. Okay, so So like I mentioned in the beginning, the costing is really based on the different modules that you take. So if we just say basic system, so if I'm saying payroll, so let's say, and again, it depends on if you have monthly, which is the salaries module, or wages, which is the bi-weekly or weekly module, or you can do a combination of them. So how the pricing works is if you do basic, it will just be, let's say, salaries or wages, or salaries and wages, with the leave module. That will be your basic payroll and basically all the functionality I showed you now. And then if you add modules to that, general ledger, equity, skills, self-service, all those modules will be additional costs. But if we, and also we do bundling pricing. So the more modules you take, the cheaper it becomes also per module. But if we just quickly work on the basic, let's say the bracket, the small bracket, which is 0 to 30, so up to 30 employees for your basic payroll, we are looking at about let's just round it up, about 500 Rand a month that you will pay. Or to answer the second question, you can pay monthly subscription or annual subscription. So the monthly subscription will, let's say, be this scenario, 500 Rand a month. Or if you then do the annual subscription, it's literally the 500 times 12, which will be 6,000 a year. The difference between the two is there's not from a discounted point of view, it's the same price, 500 a month or 6,000 a year. The only difference is just how you generate the codes. So if you do a monthly subscription option, you will also sign a debit order, or you will get EFT payments. We'll do EFT payments, and every month you will get a code to roll over to the next month. Versus an annual subscription means you pay once off the 6,000 and you get a code for the year. So that's the difference in costing. But again, the modules is priced individually or as a bundle, depending on the functionality. But the basic things we showed today, salaries, wages, and leave module, roughly 500 for about 30 employees.
Okay, thank you, Alicia. Marilise, do you have any other questions there?
Nothing that I can see, but I know it's always first thing in my mind when I look at a new program is the backupping of the system, making a backup and then having to restore when you need it. Can I ask, Alicia, can you just show us how to make a backup on Sbcpb?
Yes, 100%. Let me just quickly share my screen. Can you see my payroll again?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. So remember, there's also two, like I mentioned in the beginning, Sage will make ad hoc backups as well. So when you go to your main screen and you click on this, mine is now a demo environment, so there's no backups. But if I click on retrieve, it will literally give you on a timeline here your latest backup. So it might mean, it might mean that, oh, let me just close this. Oh, there you go. So it might mean that you made a backup yesterday, but Sage made a backup this morning, for example. So that will be the top backup at the top, So you will always be able to retrieve your backups from there. But to make a backup, when you're in the system, this is this utility tab. Sorry, I forgot to show that. So the utility, I always say it's all the nitty-gritty things at the end of the payroll system. So once you've captured everything, gotten all your reports, paid SARS, done everything, paid your employees, you can make a backup from here. So you literally go utilities, backup, data for this company, meaning the company I'm in, company 001. Or if I want to make a backup of all my companies, let's say I've got 3 companies, I can say data for all companies. Or you can say I want only selected. So I've got 4 companies, but I only want to make a backup of company 1 and 2 together, for example. So those are the 3 options. But literally click on, let's say, data for this company, for example. Let's just say continue. You will select the description. So I always say put your description for the company that you're making as well as the date you're making it for. Okay, let's just use that one, for example. And there you see there runs my backup. And that's how easy it is. Okay, successful. Okay, and that will store it where? The main page, backups, retrieve backups, and it will be on that timeline. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Alicia. Marilise, do you have any other questions from our audience, or do you have another question maybe?
No, I've got nothing on the Q&A or the chat, so you
Okay.
can take it.
Okay, thanks. I think that concludes our session then. Thank you for the time that you took this morning to attend the session, and I hope we hear from all of you. And I hope we've encouraged you to get to an online payroll system. You have our email addresses, you have the contact details. You're welcome to contact us at any time. Thank you for attending, and we're looking forward to hearing from you soon. Keep well, everybody. Bye-bye.